Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Biohazard 2 Real Survival. In the last episode, Claire finally descended to the basement underground area, which contained the parking garage of the RPD. And, of course, she ran into a familiar enemy, zombie Dobermans, zombie dogs. But not the Cerberus POWs from the Arklay mansion, just regular zombie dogs. And she was also briefly joined by Sherry, of all people, who decided to run off on her own, but she did help Claire gain a pair of useful items from the sewage disposal plant before running off again. And that's pretty much where we left off, and we start this episode off with filing the Watchman's diary that we actually read at the very end of the episode, with the Watchman in question being this person lying dead here on the floor between these two bunk beds. Now, I have to go back and get by that I mean basically I'm going to empty up some space in my in Claire's inventory, just in case. Because not only do we have those acid rounds to get through, we also have those herbs, and including that one there. And just briefly going back to these corridors here. These two corridors, the ones on either side of the police station, this one where Claire is standing in, and then the L-shaped corridor. In fact, both those two areas actually are outside. They're actually in the vicinity of the streets of Raccoon City, believe it or not. That makes this place so much safer. But then again, the police could never have anticipated that the citizens of Raccoon would become zombies, so to speak. And speaking of back outside, this place is the only part of the precinct that actually has any sort of protection from the outside. Although, if we were attacked by crows, that would be a different matter. Speaking of crows, let us leave them in peace, and hopefully they'll leave us in peace. This is the quickest way to the save room that I intend to go to, the one that I've been utilizing this whole time from this point forward. And I should probably I'll leave those two herbs there for now, and I'll probably leave the on second thought I'll probably leave the acid rounds in the room for the time being, because I can always pick them up later. But I can't pick up any more items with a full inventory, so it was a definite necessity to do that. But yeah. Only recourse of action in the underground is actually to go into the rather ominous room marked Autopsy. because you know something is, and I think I'll actually leave that herb there for the time being. I'll come back for it once I've finished my business here. This is not looking forward to this. In an ominous room marked Autopsy. I just went straight in there, and lo and behold, I was right. That's rather unfortunate. Bodies of zombies scattered all about the place. Certainly a grisly sight. They all appear to be dormant for the time being, but that's not going to last, and there are a whole bunch of cabinets over here. This is going to be disturbing indeed. And that was really ominous. But lo and behold, here is the long sought after card key, the red card key, which we really need. We also need to get out of dodge. Oh, you all rose up too quickly. I could not avoid getting bitten there, but health is still fine, so that's something. By the way, little bit of a tangent here. Which one of you saw the pilot episode of the TV series Crime Scene Investigation, where the CSI rookie Holly ends up getting tricked into going into the morgue, and when she tries to get out, the door is there's no way to get out from the inside of the morgue. There is absolutely no way. Yeah, so glad that Irons didn't take a page out of that book, and it certainly fits his morbid personality. But we can now examine this card in peace. A plastic card. It reads weapon storage, which is exactly what we wanted. It's what we were aiming for this whole time. And now that we have the card reader active, the door is now unlocked. Hooray! We finally managed to fulfill, David Ford's mission, so to speak, even if we are the only ones. And, lo and behold, we have some handgun bullets scattered around here and there. Not much else in terms of munitions, but I won't say no to bowgun bolts. That's for sure. And for room marked weapon storage, there's actually a lot that's actually been scattered around. Yeah. And most importantly, are these lockers here. Containing 2 items. There's a machine gun and a side pack. With a side pack, I can carry more items. Will you equip it? This is actually the first major decision that we have to make in Biohazard 2. This is actually one of the few points where the vaunted zapping system of Biohazard 2 actually comes into effect. Now, the zapping system supposedly refers to the entire set of scenarios, the connection between A and B, but actually, practically speaking, it only really affects only a small amount of events in Biohazard 2, this one being one of them. Now, Claire can choose to take the machine gun or the side pack. Both of them are fairly useful. The machine gun, obviously, would be a very effective weapon against hordes of enemies, but is actually quite bulky. The side pack is an invaluable item indeed. Now some people might be saying save the side pack for later, and that's really, that's the point where I was trying to get, because the item that Claire takes, she will want to leave the remaining item for Leon in the B scenario. That's basically where the long and short of the zapping system in general. But for the purposes of this Let's Play, I'm going to take the side pack, and I'm going to equip the side pack. The side pack is being equipped. Now if we look at the locker again, there's the machine gun. I should probably save it for Leon. And it's a submachine gun. Well, it's still a machine gun, but it's actually quite bulky. It actually takes 2 item slots. It's quite an unwieldy weapon, but lo and behold, we actually have Claire actually now has 2 extra item slots, thanks to the if you actually look, she's actually wearing the side pack, which is pretty nifty. She's actually she actually has it equipped to her. But well, we fulfilled the operation report. We've managed to get the key card and enter the weapon storage, but as I mentioned previously, there doesn't actually seem to, well, we got a fair amount for us, but there doesn't really seem to be much else here. And that's essentially it for the underground area. We have no real reason to be here anymore. So back up we go. Oh wait. One more thing. I forgot the item that I was meant to be going after, which is the herb. Not that way. That way lies dogs. I want to go to the parking area. Get that herb while I still can. I was expecting to find dogs in this area. I wouldn't be surprised if they were, or running around here. But green herb is ours, and now we can leave. We can finally say farewell to this place for good, because there really is no point in running around the underground area anymore, because we've literally done everything we need to. So The only area left is that last remaining club key room. Now I'm gonna combine these herbs just to save some space, and I almost ran out of here. Again, almost forgetting an item that I really want. It would be idiotic of me to simply leave it behind without good cause. I'll be kicking myself later if I did that. It's time for, if I can just get around here, it's time once again for our trusty weapon that's useful against living things. Especially against living things. A trusty can of fizz. We really need that ammunition. Be a waste to leave it behind. And fortunately, those zombies haven't yet broken through. Which useful for Claire because she really has no reason to be in there anymore. So once again, backtracking to the item box, and I am so glad that we don't have anything. We don't have to do anything that involves us actually going back out into the city streets of Raccoon. Actually be, yeah, really unfortunate if we had to do that. Not to mention terrifying. We can't stay in the police station forever. Sooner or later it's going to be heavily overrun by hordes of zombies. We have 12 acid rounds, and I think we're good to go. Also, once we use that key, we'll just simply discard it. And now that we actually have the map in question, we actually know firsthand that once this key is used, it will serve no purpose. Which is always good to know. Back out into the night we go. Unfortunately, no Batman to save us now, Claire. Or Bruce Wayne, for that matter. No, where am I going? I don't want to go back into the underground. Just ran straight in there without thinking. My mistake. That place is now literally behind us. Nope. Caught in the door there. And again, that ominous feeling of being watched, but we don't have time to deal with that right now. We actually have progress ahead of us. Now, speaking of the decor at the police station, you may have heard me talking more about Biohazard 1.5, which is a more contemporary style of police station. And I actually liked a lot of its aesthetics from the footage I've seen. And we're here at the final door. And now we can discard it, because we can tell that it's useless on the map. I wish I brought my acid rounds. Oh. No. Late rounds, go! Yeah. Oh, was not expecting a liquor. Was actually not expecting that. There doesn't appear to be any more around here. Actually took me by surprise. I never, well, this is my own hypocrisy here, but I said in my defense, I said that that lickers aren't as terrifying as hunters. They can be fairly terrifying in and of their own right, but they're not as terrifying as hunters. And there is another film there that we just picked up from that table there, and a picture of a man on a carriage. Something is on the wheel. Light the Queen, the King, and the Jack. Then the carriage will start running. Oh, that is a puzzle. That is a puzzle if ever there was one. And this appears to be a press room of some kind. Well, obviously it's a press room. Probably where Irons makes his formal declarations to the media. And this room, like everywhere else, is definitely messed up there, Claire. And we appear to have these faucets up on here that we can't apparently. Number 11 has been etched, and that one is 12. And that one is 13. You can light a fire here. If only I'd thought to bring the lighter with me. I'd have to backtrack for that. But yep, backtracking we go. All the way back for the lighter, and probably shouldn't have mixed up those herbs, actually. And we'll also be going back to the dark room to see what's on that film. Once I'm done with this puzzle, which I need to go through. And of course, a slightly more tricky puzzle, although not overly convoluted. The solution is fairly simple, given the clue. The clue was light the Queen, the King, then the Jack, and then the carriage will start running. Now we had those numbers on those faucets, 11, 12, and 13. Now, those numbers correspond once again to the card motif. The Jack is 11, the Queen is 12, and the King is 13. So, again, not a terribly difficult puzzle, but a slightly more creative one thus far. And there we go. So I'll definitely need that gear. Good thing it's not a black gear, or we would definitely be in trouble. I'm sorry, I really actually enjoyed the first season of the original Digimon cartoon. And the black gears and Devimon and so on and so forth. Don't go back up the stairs. And away we go yet again. Okay, I know that zombie that's lying unconscious on the floor there is still active, but there's really no reason for me to waste precious ammunition on him. He's going to be there for quite a while. Really pay a lot more attention to my surroundings when going through these episodes. Otherwise I don't really have much else to talk about, as I'm trying to get to wherever I'm trying to get to, and luckily enough no secondary lickers hiding around somewhere. Now that we have the light in question, I can finally demonstrate the puzzle. So of course, as I just explained, you have to light the Queen, the King, and then the Jag. And then when you, of course, this goes without saying, if I do need, I don't need to. I've already lit the fire. All I need to do is turn the faucets. Now once Queen's Knight is on the field, and King's Knight is summoned to the field, I can then bring forth their companion, Jack's Knight. And then using, if I can and then using polymerization I can fusion summon them into Arcane or Arcana Knight Joker. Yeah, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Way too often back in the day. And I also watched the 4Kids cartoon as well. A gold-plated cog. Possibly for a clog. Golden cogwheel. Not gear cogwheel. But, believe it or not, we've actually explored everywhere there is to explore in the police station. Which actually is fairly incredible, to say the least. We've made incredible strides of progress. And before we move on, I am going to cut through the western offices in order to get to the dark room through the evidence room. It's a quicker destination. Forgive me, Marvin, but you left me with no choice. I did what I had to do, and I'll leave it at that. Things appear to have quietened down outside for the time being, which is fortunate for us. let us see what's on this particular negative. Film B. And it appears to be a rather well taken photo of a man who is clearly transformed into a zombie. Pictured in front of the Arukas Taylor, regressed into a zombie within 2 hours. That's actually fairly quick. Not as quick as the truck driver, but incredibly quick. Unless this man would have already been having symptoms before transmogrifying into a zombie. Also, if you watch the first episode, as Claire was quickly making her way through the streets of Raccoon at the beginning of her unfortunate journey, you may have noticed the Arukas Taylor in question. Arukas is actually, if you reverse the letters, if you rearrange the letters backwards, it's spelled Sakura, which is another Capcom franchise or character or something like that. And definitely not Sakura of Cardcaptor's Sakura. I meant to read the rest of this. Subject repeatedly complained about severe agitation of the epidermis in addition to feelings of nausea. This happened up to the moment he lost consciousness. Picture by R. Lambert. Film B has been filed. So I have been, so obviously they were keeping track of the zombie outbreak, because how could they not, given what was happening. But, was, well, never mind then. Losing my train of thought. But anyway, back I go. Just checking my inventory there. We actually need to use that and luckily there's no zombie on this side, fortunately. I think I can now go. I think I can just go back up here now to speak. Oh, and there is a liquor. Oh, run away. Oh my word. Oh my word, that is a blackened liquor. Oh, get away. Oh, get into the room, Claire. I think Bogot bolts are especially effective against liquors. And we ran out of I don't want to waste. I'm going to have to, because I'm using a lot of ammunition as of late, but I'm definitely going to have to do something about you. Oh, you can hear my footsteps. Fuck you. Making me waste a shot. Also, did you see that? I caught that liquor in midair. Look, it's maybe terrifying at the best of times, but yeah, again, not quite on par as Hunters. I had to waste two Magnum grenade rounds, and there was actually one floor. I tell a lie that we've explored the entire police station. There was actually one floor on the third floor that we have to explore. That's where we need to go. What was that sound? That was the sound of zombies breaking into the corridor on the east side of the police station. Unfortunately, Claire doesn't have to go through there. Unfortunately, this does not entirely spell well for Leon if he has to do something in the underground. But I think that is another situation of the zapping system. It's actually a good thing that cord didn't break. Now, I always thought that the zombies actually broke into this room of all places, the library, and that the library was what started crawling with zombies or enemies. But we never went through this door here, which is the door to the third part of the station. There is another liquor. Should be in range. Acid rounds. One shot, one kill. Before we go that way, to that other door over there, I'm just going to see if there's anything around here. No, there isn't. Running along the, oh, it's not really a floor per se, this area, but, well, I suppose you could call it a floor since we're moving into the room above the library. Believe it or not, adventurers, we are actually in the clock tower, which is part of the police station. Apparently this is broken for some reason, but remember the Watchman's diary, that Irons was particularly furious that he was in here. Rusted gear. And he was wondering why access to the tower was prohibited in the first place, since it's part of the police station. And it's a square hole. Backtracking we go, because that is that, ladies and gentlemen, is one place in the entire police station that we have to use the iconic crank. So back down we go. Back to the waiting room to get another item. Hooray! Well, it can't be helped. I mean, after all, Claire couldn't have anticipated that she would need every item for our future destinations. Of course, thanks to that trusty side pack, we can take the crank. I think I'll keep the lighter with me. I'm sure it might come in handy later. evil liquor, making me waste acid rounds. Although they are exceptionally effective. Well, Barry was not mistaken. The acid rounds are really powerful, especially against living things. Huh? Pauses for audience applause, not a sausage. Oh well. It was... I thought it was funny. And you all doubted Barry Burton. Shame on those who did. Barry Burton has always been a fairly reliable individual. And back in the clock tower we go. Now that we have the crank in our position. You can use it to lower the stairs, and lo and behold, we finally discard the crank. That is the crank's sole purpose in the police station, unlike the mansion. It's up here. Up to the very top of the clock tower, and I believe the main part of the clock in question. Power source for the clock. The gears are clean. Well, appears to be a patch down here. It looks like a switch. Well, you push it, which we shall. And it appears that a gear is missing. But lo and behold, we have that gear. Also, this area, the clock tower seems to lag the emulator. For some reason. Not sure why. And now that the gears are complete, we can push the button. And now time is moving again. Oh, there was a panel over there. And aha. There appears to be a another half of a stone. Or the other half of the blue stone that we had. So now, back down we go. Nothing peculiar about the spanners on the wall, but the police station is nothing short of peculiar. Now it's back down to the waiting room to get that other half of the stone. And with that, we'll actually have all three of the stones that we can use on to unlock the Gateway of Doom. And once we do that, adventurers, we will effectively say farewell to the police station, because we have to make our way out of Raccoon City somehow. And unfortunately for us, braving the streets is far from an option. So the only way out is through the sewers, or any other sort of passage that you might find. We have the blue stone, and now we can combine them together to form the Jaguar stone, even though the stone is broken in half and it should still technically be broken with a giant crack in the middle. But, believe it or not, actually, you actually have all 3 stones, as I just said, but, believe it or not, I'm actually going to save here. Because we've been making quite a bit of progress through the remainder of the police station. But it's time to save once again. Yeah, I know I've been saving considerably, but it's absolutely necessary if we want to survive Biohazard 2. And with that said, I believe that is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Biohazard 2 Real Survival. In the following episode, when we return, adventurers, we shall finally use those stones to unlock the Gateway of Doom and see what it is that Brian Irons has to hide. No, well, what he has to hide that we haven't uncovered already so far. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.